Hey guys, remorseful person here. I think that it's long overdue that I make a response video to the criticism I received on r/hasbeen for my video on criticizing Helluva Boss' excessive use of incest jokes, because I do think that some people brought up some good points, like accusing Vivzy Pops and to some extent her writers of having an incest fetish over this joke was ridiculous because it has no basis whatsoever. They could just generally find us funny. The same way that people find 9/11 and P. Diddy jokes funny, even though they may not condone the actions. And that's where my agreement of the criticism ends, because as you might notice, I did not take my video down because I still agree with parts of it. Specifically the part where I say that it's not funny. This is the third incest joke, and just like all the other ones and most of the jokes in this series and Has-Been Hotel, they're not funny because it's not. I know that you might be saying that comedy is subjective, and I don't care. The fact that this show and all of the Helluverse spams the same exact two jokes, which is gore or sex. Editing Nuba here, I just realized that they don't have just two jokes that they constantly spam, but actually three. It's gore, sex, and excessive cursing, which really shows how adult this show is. Wait, who could forget the so funny anti-SJW humor of racism, slurs, we can't say slurs anymore, and misogyny. Well, to be fair, all the bigoted humor comes from characters who are established to be bigots, so it makes the joke slightly less painful, because this show is so safe edgy that they never really take these jokes to the degree where they can be funny. Probably because if they did, the fan base will try to cancel the writers by accusing them of every single horrendous thing in the book. Like how people were trying to accuse Vivzy Pop and her team of being anti-Semitic and fat-phobic over Mimsy's character design having a hooked nose and being overweight, while her main personality trait was being greedy. While I'm not denying that those character traits are definitely used to demonize those groups of people, that wasn't the case here, so yeah. There have been a few leftist jokes. The one that I can remember on top of my head is the one in Ring Breakers, where towards the end of the episode, Rasuka refers to cops as pigs. That was one of the few jokes in this series that got a chuckle out of me. Too bad these jokes are far and in between, because this show lacks a spine to actually critique the upper class without A, infantilizing the fuck out of them, or B, making them comically evil, while simultaneously demonizing any lower class person for rightfully being angry at them. I'm looking at you, Stolas and Stryker. Besides him and some other exceptions, all the other villains, but especially Stella, because holy waste of potential of complexity for some lame shit. And that was my really convoluted explanation to why I think that the comedy in Helluva Boss sucks. Since how are you a quote-unquote adult show yet always fall back on juvenile humor, especially when your inspirations are South Park and BoJack Horseman? Logically, shouldn't you have a more diverse range of jokes? I guess not, according to Vivzy and her writers. Especially when 2 out of the 3 examples I used in that video are from the base series and not the shorts, which makes it less excusable, since the shorts are episodic while the base series isn't, and both of those jokes are present in season 2, the same season where the series shifts into a serious tone, since roughly 7 out of the 12 episodes were Stolas-centered, which is roughly 3 more compared to season 1. This season also loves to preach about morals while simultaneously contradicting those morals. When Stolas blows up at Blitz for his hot and cold behavior, as hypocritical as that was, he gets vindicated by the fact that Blitz goes on a whole apology tour, apologizing to almost all the people that he's hurt. So in this instance, the show is setting up the moral that playing with people's feelings is wrong, yet they contradict this by pitying Stolas when he gets rightfully confronted by Octavia for prioritizing Blitz over her for the 3rd time now. And for the people who are gonna say, they acknowledge that his actions are wrong. Well, yes and no. While they do acknowledge that what he did was wrong, in the next breath they literally have a Stolas fan service scene, contrasting that with what happened to Blitz at the end of Apology Tour. He gets cheated on and wallows in frustration in his car. Inconsistencies like this make it hard for me personally to take this show seriously. How I'm supposed to take the ending of Unhappy Camper seriously when Moxie learns emotional maturity for the gazillionth time, then he proceeds to do it with his wife while pretending to be a tween girl in public, mind you, in front of kids. And don't you dare bring up the it's hell arguments to justify the inconsistent morals in the show, because the show is very consistent in painting Blitz as a bad person for being a bad boyfriend and Stolas as a victim, even though he's literally a terrible boyfriend and father. This is just a case of bad voice acting, and if the show didn't have such good animation and voice acting, a handful of good episodes like the latest short, and oh, can't forget the ships, you would see that too. Take Panty and Stocking with Garner Belt as an example, since a lot of people like to compare the two shows even though they're really not the same. Like, one is a glorified western style anime shitpost, while the other one is an edgy, gay, furry version of Romeo and Juliet. Scanty and Nisa's incestuous relationship is barely present in the new season. They instead choose to highlight the lesbian part of their characters with the amount of interesting scenarios they have with Panty and Stocking, to say the least. Anyways, that's all I have to say on this matter. I wanted to add on a review of the latest short because I have a lot of good things to say about it, but I'm gonna make a whole separate video for that because my channel is already dying despite me just starting, so I'm trying to upload as much as I can. I apologize that this response has come out so late. I've been busy with a lot of things. During that time period, I was busy studying for my permit test, and then after that, I am now busy with school and studying for the ACTs. So I decided to get this upload over with, like this I can get myself back into the algorithm for a bit, so I could sit back and work on my personal stuff and more complex videos for this channel. My Splatoon and fascism video is still in the works. Of course, at a slower pace now, especially with the fact that my editor abandoned me out of nowhere, but I do have a bulk of the script done and 2 sections recorded. So yeah, subscribe if you want to stay tuned for that, and thank you for all the criticism I received on that video. As a newbie YouTuber, I need as much feedback as I can get. I hope you guys enjoyed this response and understand my perspective on things. Bye.